Of a broad radio and internet employment campaign available through the Miller Media Group. Contact your account manager or email sales at randyradio.com for more information. IllinoisJobPost.com is where we put the power of radio and the internet to attract prospective candidates.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom call this morning is Mrs. Mary Vogt. She is the superintendent of Bement Schools. Mrs. Vogt, a good morning to you. How do we find you on this fine day?
Good morning, Seth. Hey, we can be found on our updated website, www.bement.k12.il.us. That was something we made a transition this summer and have a new look to our website.
Yeah. Tell us about the new website. What's new about it?
So one of the great things about it is it ties in directly to an app that families can download and have access to everything. The marketing theme was it's everything Bement in your pocket. So as soon as we do an upload to the website, it goes right to that app and parents can get notified immediately. Last week we had a game that was rained out, so we were able to put that information on the website, and then through that connection with the app, anyone who signed up for notifications got notified that the game was canceled. So
very good.
Just bringing things into the current century.
At risk of sounding like a troll, we couldn't shorten up that URL a little bit for folks?
For a cost, we could.
Yes, a cost, of course. Everything costs, right?
Yeah, it was a few $100s a month. So I'm like,
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Oh my gosh. No. I'll type all that out for a few $100 to save yourself some
it would
money.
have been BementSchools.org is what it would have been. So still not super short.
Yeah.
That's where the beauty of having the app is you don't have to type in the website. Just open up the app.
Now, okay, so tell us about the app a little bit and development of that. What was that process like from your perspective?
And Seth, I think if anyone's been following our journey, we had it was December of 2022, our tech person resigned mid-year to take a job teaching at a college in South Carolina. So we were left without tech support, and I've worked with Superintendent Adam Clapp we have an intergovernmental agreement, and I pay the Monticello School District to contract with them for technology services. And again, most people who know me know that I spent 17 years in the Monticello School District, and the platform they used, it was something that I was comfortable with, familiar with. I had blindsided my principals, set up a Zoom call with that company and said, hey, I just want to know what you think about this, and maybe make a transition, and they loved it. And so then after the Zoom call, I said, okay, because that's what I used for 17 years, so I'm used to it. I just didn't want to make them feel like I was forcing them into a change that wasn't something they were comfortable with. So yeah, as an administrative team, we worked with our support from the Monticello Technology Department to get everything from the old website uploaded into the new website. Extremely user-friendly as administrators. I mean, we can go upload pictures. When it comes time for board meetings, we used to have to send our board meeting agenda to somebody who then would go to the old website to then upload it. I have a file. When I upload the agenda, I just put it in that file for the website, and it's there immediately. So really a big time saver as far as the administrative standpoint.
Yeah. So tell me about the app a little bit, Mrs. Vogt. What's going to be the benefit of this app for the community? What, other than, like schedule updates you talked about, what else can your families do with this app?
It's that immediate notification if we put something out there. It's called a live feed, and so families can sign up to be immediately notified for those live feed items. So whether it's Wednesday night, we had our middle school and high school open house, so a reminder on that app saying don't forget middle school, high school open house. Middle school baseball game is canceled as we get into some sketchy weather. That's where it would give an immediate alert if we're using a remote learning day, or if school is canceled, or if we have to dismiss early. So
Yeah.
where traditionally, I think Seth, you and I probably remember the days where you listened on the radio or for the scroll to come across the bottom of the TV if there were weather related announcements, and now families have it literally in their hand.
So is it strictly just notification, or can you do things like keep tabs of important documents at the through the district? Whether it's pay a bill, like a lunch bill or something of that nature. Are those types of features a part of this?
All of our online registration information was accessible through that app, but our student management program is different than the app and the website. But the app and the website have a link to the student management program where bills can be paid, where registration can be completed. But the web page and app both have those daily important things, the meal menus, and then in that preparation for school, all of the links to, physical and immunization forms, the fee schedule. So just those documents. If anyone is ever interested in our, school board policy, there's a link to that. For me, it's great reading. I know not everyone else is as interested in board policy as the superintendent.
Sure. Well, Mrs. Vogt, anything on the app, the new website that we didn't touch on there you want to put out there for us?
I think that pretty well covers it.
Mary Vogt, Superintendent of Bement Schools, my guest on the Zoom call here for this morning. Well, Mrs. Vogt, how is your new school year? When did you get your kids back in the classrooms for the 24-25 school year?
Yeah, we had our teachers came back on Monday, August 12th, and then our kindergarten through 12th grade students started Wednesday, August 14th, and our preschoolers joined us on Thursday, August 15th. And Seth, I was at an event yesterday and talking with administrators from throughout the area, and just it feels different this year. Pre-COVID, I feel like we had just gotten into that taking things for granted, things that typically would come easily. Sometimes we would feel, burdened, or, oh gosh, this didn't go exactly right. And then when COVID hit, we were hit with doing school completely differently than any educator had ever been trained for. And so then coming back in that fall of 2020, and then even into the 21-22 school year, there was still that just cloud of uncertainty. Last year, I feel like things got a little bit better, and this year, I feel like we know better than to take for granted that things are going to go the way that we expect them to. But I feel like just overall, the students, the staff, it just feels like a lighter start to the school year. So it's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm curious because Bement's very unique, I feel like, in the schools we talk to. I feel like Bement, maybe Sarah Gordo to a degree, and even DeLand, I would put DeLand Weldon in there, really small districts with small class sizes and those sorts of things. How about student attendance for a district like yours? I hear so often about, school districts, particularly the larger ones we talk to, they're still struggling to get all their kids back in school, and there's some truancy issues still stemming from the COVID stuff. How about attendance of your kids so far this year?
So far it's been great. Again, having a smaller student population, it gives our staff, that ability to see things, I feel like, a little bit more quickly. With the students being here 3 days last week, we had a kiddo who was tardy one day, absent a day. Out of 3 days, that's a big deal. And so then to have administration call and just say, hey, I'm just checking in to see if everything's okay, because this doesn't seem typical. And I feel like in a larger district, there just isn't that ability to see it as quickly because of the number of students.
Yeah.
So not that any one situation is better or worse, it's just different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you kind of get lost in the shuffle because you're trying, you've got classes of anywhere from 25 to 30 in and
Right.
out of a room at any given
Right.
time. So one kid
Right.
being absent, maybe every other class isn't a red flag to a teacher. It's just okay, they're just absent, but but over time that adds up for sure. Anything else about getting back to school, Mrs. Vogt? Anything, whether it's new in your facilities, whether it's new in your curriculum, new just in general? What's kind of comes to mind as you get back to school in your district?
Seth, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I've been saying it since May with the disclaimer of I know the bottom could fall out any second, but we are starting our year fully staffed, which hasn't happened in this district. Mr. Kepley, who's been here for over 20 years, he said he thinks it's been 8+ years since the district has been fully staffed. So our May board meeting was the last meeting where we hired the final piece of the puzzle. All summer long, I thought, you know what, something could happen. Somebody could, have a spouse that moves or takes them away, and I know it could change any second. And I'm sure any administrator who's hearing this is like, oh my gosh, why would you say that? It's like the kiss of death to throw caution to the wind and tempt fate that something tragic will happen. But no, I fully understand it could change any second, but I have really enjoyed, and I do feel like for our administrative team, that helped us this summer, knowing that we weren't still searching for people to fill our
Yeah.
positions.
For sure. Yeah, that's a huge, I'm sure, just burden off the shoulders of not only your administrators, probably yourself, and that sort of thing. Definitely.
Right.
Well, that's great to hear, Mrs. Vogt. Anything else on the new school year? Anything that we haven't touched on you want to put out there for us?
We're continuing to make improvements and updates to our technology. Half of our teachers, had desktop computers that I think one of them had been purchased in 2010. Just so much of the technology couldn't be updated or supported anymore. So we've replaced those with new laptops for the teachers. We're in the process of replacing some of those original smart boards that came out again, 10, 15 years ago, replacing those with wireless interactive boards that don't need a projector. So just really trying to support the staff so that they have the tools they need in order to support the students.
Very good. Well, Mrs. Vogt, let's take a break here. Remind us that website and how folks find your new app that we talked about at the top.
www.bement.k12.il.us.
That is Mrs. Mary Vogt, Superintendent of Bement Schools, my guest on the Zoom call this morning. More to come with Mrs. Vogt on the morning show.
WHOW.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
There is still time for summer savings here at Baum Chrysler Jeep. This is Will Daniels in downtown Clinton. Come see the Chrysler Pacifica in stock today. For August, see our summer savings price on each new Pacifica, America's most awarded minivan 7 years in a row. The interior is stunning and comfortable, and it has seating for 7, or use the stow and go seating for the items you need moved with convenience. Summer savings at baumchryslerjeep.com, your downtown dealer in Clinton.
Still time for summer savings at Baum Chevrolet Buick. This is Scott Baum. Our goal is to make your purchase decision easy. That's why we have our prices posted on each and every car. For August, see our summer savings posted on each Chevrolet car, truck, SUV, crossover, and EV, especially the sporty Trailblazer and the all-new Chevy Trax. As always, our Silverados are in stock and ready to work for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City, right from the start.
Are you wanting to learn more about your health and wellness options in Central Illinois? Visit stealthwellness.com or click on my banner ad at dewittdailynews.com. Let me, Dr. Bill Byers, show you some simple, under-the-radar ways to improve and take control of your health.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It is brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Mrs. Mary Vogt, Superintendent of Bement Schools, on the Zoom call with us for this morning. Well, Mrs. Vogt, it is everyone's favorite subject. It is budget time for schools, and how are things shaping up in Bement?
Seth, we're looking great. We had our auditor here the last couple of days going over FY24 information and very helpful as we're planning for the FY25 budget. Our fund balances continue to grow. We're putting systems in place and just really keeping an eye on what is spent and how it is spent, and just trying also in the planning for the budget to develop plans for facility maintenance and upkeep, and making sure that we're very intentional about setting money aside for things like, our 1899 building, a schedule for tuck pointing, and so just making sure that our budget covers the needs for our facilities and also our supplies, and of course salaries, benefits, and the things that most people are really concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
So, before becoming a superintendent, I didn't have a strong understanding of how a school budget is developed, how a school budget is used. I think one of the best analogies that I share, like with my school board, is right now, today, Seth, on September 23rd, could you sit down and budget your grocery bill for the next year and actually stick to it?
I mean, I can barely do that for this week, so.
Right, exactly. So that's, what the budget does for a school district. It asks us to sit down and plan out how we will spend all of our money for the next year. So it's just that it's a plan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But to expect that we will actually stick with every step of that plan, it's just not feasible. So
Right.
2 years ago, sitting here, I could not have answered really probably any question about the budget without going and checking and double checking and then getting an answer back to you. But I do feel more confident now. My third go around with developing the budget, and I feel more comfortable just with that understanding that it's a plan.
Mm-hmm.
The plan changes,
Mm-hmm.
and so then we do an amendment and let the state know here's a little bit closer idea of what happened.
Sure. Well, remind us, Mrs. Vogt, what are Bement's kind of main sources of revenue at this point in time?
Local tax dollars are our main source of revenue. We have, CPPRT, the corporate personal property replacement tax, for our school district, CPPRT, gosh, we're going to get about 30% less than we did last year. Well, what that translates into for our district is we got about $170,000 in CPPRT last year. Next year, we're going to get like $114,000.
Oh, wow.
So 30% of not much is not much. But when you're getting $20 million in CPPRT, 30% of that makes a pretty big impact. So that's where, the local property taxes are our main source of income. And so fortunately in our area, that mainly comes from farmland, that the value is increasing. So we're doing well as far as what we have coming in and what we need to spend.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I don't know how it is now, because so many districts in Central Illinois, like you're talking about here, they rely on those local tax dollars. So those are consistent, those are coming in, those are going to be there. But I wonder, and I wonder if state tax dollars are still kind of, they come and go. I don't know what the status of those are, or what you've heard about districts that do rely on those tax dollars. But how about that? Just the fact that local dollars are just more reliable than state dollars.
Well, and Seth, along with that, it's the location of our local dollars, because think about it, you have some counties where people don't pay their taxes. Well, if they don't pay their taxes, then how is the school going to get the money? So fortunately, we're in an area where people actually pay their taxes, so we can count on the money that's levied actually coming into us.
Interesting point. Interesting point for sure. Now, I know the 1 cent sales tax is a thing in Piatt County, and most of that goes to Monticello because of its size. But how about that added revenue that you have there? And I don't know, is the wind farm going to impact Bement schools at all there in Piatt County?
Not that I am aware of. So it's not something, it's not in our district. Truthfully, Seth, it's just not something that I've looked into because I don't feel it's not in my district.
I see.
So
Sure.
I don't think, if that property where the wind farms was in my district, I think we would
Okay.
see some benefit from it. But,
Okay.
I don't think it will impact us. Now,
Okay.
I'm
Gotcha.
glad you asked, because now I'm going to look into it.
You sure? Sure. Well, and but speak to the 1 cent sales tax dollars. How much of those are you getting these days?
We get again in that $200,000 range, not a significant amount. And then, I say not a significant amount. I mean, I'm not going to turn the money down. But between the CPPRT and 1% sales tax, that to me is money, when we have unexpected issues come up with the facility, that's where we can use that money.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what I like. My budget isn't going to be made or broken off of those dollar amounts, because
Right.
losing 30% of not much is not much.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, for sure. Like you said. Very good. Well, Mrs. Vogt, I'll tell you what. Again, best way for folks to learn about all things Bement schools.
www.bement.k12.il.us.
Mrs. Vogt, thank you for doing this with us. It's good to see you again. We
Absolutely.
look forward to
You too.
catching up in the months ahead.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Mrs. Mary Vogt, Superintendent of Bement Schools, our guest in the Zoom call this morning. More network news, rather, coming your way next.
WHOW.